Mission Impossible 2. And yes, again, I'm recording this video in a Spider-Man suit because I'm having to record this video before I go to work, and we're showing Cross the Spider-Verse at work. So, anyways, Mission Impossible 2 is a fun movie that is bad. This is the worst Mission Impossible movie. I think that's become very famous at this point. Because this movie is really, honestly, it's really dated. Like, watching this movie, I'm like, this is early 2000s movie. At least I think it was early 2000s, right? Looking at it now. Oh. Whatever. It feels like an early 2000s movie. Also, it feels like kind of a 90s movie, too. I don't know. It's just really bad in terms of how the movie feels. And what's bad about this movie is it's like a James Bond movie, but in the Mission Impossible universe. Except if you know Mission Impossible, it's not James Bond. Like, they're not the same. Ethan Hunt is like rock climbing up this thing at the beginning of the movie. I'm like, what are you, like? Are you James Bond? No, it's a famous scene, but it's also like kind of bad. A lot of the action here feels like James Bond, very rip-off-ish. Also, this movie takes itself less seriously than the first one, but also too seriously, because this movie has a lot more goofy stuff in it, like a James Bond movie, except unlike, it doesn't have that kind of goofy energy like a James Bond movie. This movie feels more like self-serious, but also not enough self-serious, because if you compare the tone of the first one to this one, they're just kind of like off balance. It's just a really weird movie with a lot of weird creative choices and direction to it. It's got some great cinematography to it, and while the action scenes don't feel like something out of a Mission Impossible movie, they are kind of enjoyable. They do feel very generic though, like they're trying to ape like a James Bond movie, so they don't feel like very much their own thing, but they're still very watchable and well filmed and put together action sequences. But yeah, it's just a very mediocre, just boring movie that ends up being bad overall just because it didn't really know what it was, and it was just kind of like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing.